Hello, everybody. How is it going? Welcome to the Backwoods Sports Podcast. It is the 7th of January of this year, 2022, and I got Magee by my side. How are you doing, man?
Doing pretty well, man. How about yourself?
Pretty good, man. Doing pretty good. Can't complain. Just doing what I'm doing out here and, watching over all these awesome sports that we've had going on lately. I honestly can't even believe some of the things that have been happening. A lot of shakeups, whether it's NBA, NHL, NFL on top of it. They've absolutely killed it and done the most, I got to be honest, man. But shoot, I mean, how those Eagles doing, right?
Hey, they're doing pretty well. I mean, I don't expect a big week coming up against Dallas because Dallas is still trying to get that seeding. But yeah, they're doing really
That's
well.
gonna be a tough one for sure.
They
But
made
I
playoffs.
mean, hey, at least Jalen Hurts ain't hurt from that tunnel wall falling down. That's a good thing, right?
Yeah, that's pretty wild, and it's not surprising coming from that crappy stadium.
Oh no, not one bit, man. That was just a little bit much to watch that happen. And
Yeah,
I don't know, as a fan, you just like thank God he's not hurt, but at the same time, you're like, shoot, man.
you look back at it, and it could have been pretty bad.
Oh
Like
yeah, just imagine if he was running a little like all the way to the left instead of
one
on
of
the
the
right side. Like,
one of the cameramen that fell down, he was on video. He kicked the fan when he was on the ground.
oh really?
Yeah, it's on
Damn,
the
man.
video of it. Yeah.
Shoot. Yeah, it got pretty crazy pretty fast over there watching that video. But I think he handled himself well and everything, and handling just as well as you need to going into these local sports, man, because the Patriots may have dropped, the last two games there to Indy and to the Bills, but came out firing, I should say, against the Jag Kitties there.
As they should.
Absolutely smacking them up.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Mac Jones going 22 of 30 on the day, 227 for the audience, 7.6 in the average, 3 touchdowns, no picks, no sacks either. That is a big one going in for that week because, I mean, you didn't expect many sacks, but to not even be dusted up a little bit, keep them pretty and standing tall is awesome with a 128 rating on the day as well. Damian Harris took a back seat, still getting 2 touchdowns with 9 carries for 35. But good old Ramondre Stevenson, man, 19 of 107 and 2 touchdowns on the day for them. They were absolutely cooking up. And for the fan favorites, man, Jacoby, 8 for 73, 9.1 average, and another touchdown. That's his second of an NFL career. So absolutely killing it. Trevor Lawrence did what he could and got kind of back into things in the swing in the end, but not even close. 50-10. Patriots absolutely give our open on those Jaguars, man. Not even a competition. But within the Garden, man, how about them Celtics though?
Yeah, I mean, since the last time we talked, they were playing that Suns game last Friday. Man, ended up getting a nice W against the Suns, so that's one of the best teams in the league. So that's nice. But then they had a nice follow up against the Magic, and Brown has just been playing out of his mind. He had a 50 piece in that game. Brown's been just going off, and I don't think Tatum played that game. Then they took on the Spurs at home in the Garden. In the TD Garden, I should say. Tatum didn't play great, but again, Brown's carrying them to the wins. Actually, they took a close loss.
Yeah, no, they took the real close loss on that 99.
There's that one inbound. You saw that one inbound play the Spurs had. They gave it right to Jaylen Brown, and he blew the layup.
Dude, I couldn't even believe that. I probably picked up about 2 minutes before that in the game because I was watching him on the cast the whole time, and I finally found it. I was looking all night. I'm like, oh, there it is. Got it up on that little stream site, and just in time for the inbound. And man, if that guy didn't crap his pants and throw that straight to Jaylen Brown to make it as easy as possible, but you also saw Jason Tatum sitting there flexing out, ready to take a nice shot. Not that I love Jason Tatum taking those every time, but that might have actually been the situation to do so, I think. But Jalen went to the rack, did what he could, try to get the foul, nothing happened, and they come up with the loss. And like you said before, man, it was a good first 2 weeks or 2 games there. But these last two, man, I counted again last night in not their own garden, but in the New York Garden over there in Madison Square. Like we were talking earlier, bro. I swear, RJ Barrett, he may not have the most mind-blowing stats of all against the Celtics, but in 8 games, on 36 minutes, I believe. He has like 19.6 rebounds, couple steals, and a couple blocks, whatnot. So the dude is, all over the place. He's wreaking havoc, whatnot. And if I remember correctly, he definitely has 2, but he may have 3 game-winning shots now against the Celtics. I think 2 of them were in the Garden in Madison Square now. So the dude's coming into his own, like you've been saying, and I think it's just, the echelons, man. He's making his way up at this point.
Yeah, RJ, he's been playing out of his mind the last 10 games, I'd say. And he's had a couple game winners. That was actually the first buzzer beater that the Knicks have had since 2012, which is pretty
really?
cool.
Well, yeah, buzzer beater. His are more
buzzer beater. Yeah. But talking about someone that has been going off against the Celtics, we talked earlier, is Evan Fournier, the former Celtic.
Yeah.
He put up, I think the first 2 times they played, he put up 32 or 31 points each. And then he just put up a 40 piece. I think he had 10 threes. He had 40 something, maybe 41 last night against the Celtics.
Man, last night he went 41. He was a plus 18. He went 15 of 25 shooting, 10 of 14 on threes, 1 of 3 at the line. So not great at the line, but shooting the lights out.
And this is a guy
you can see by the end of the game.
This is a guy that averages 12.8 points a game.
Yeah,
he's doing this
against he's been doing the Celtics dirty ever since he left.
Yeah, but lastly about the game, did you see when Julius Randle had a leaning layup in the 4th or the late 3rd, and the fans started cheering for him, and he put a thumbs down, and then he told everyone to shut the F up. Did you see that?
Really?
I did not. He started cheering them. He started putting his thumbs down. The reporters asked him after the game. The beat writers asked him, and he was like, "You saw who that was too?" And he was like, "Shut the F up" to all the fans because they were booing him before, and then now they're cheering him. So I don't know. Do you feel a certain way about that? Because to me, I'm like, bro, shut up and dribble, bro. That's just how it is in sports. That's just how it is in sports. And you're a guy that you made an all-star team last year. You made the playoffs. You got your bag. You're in New York.
I mean, you're in the most criticized city of sports. No matter if they're good or bad, they're gonna evicerate you if you have a bad night.
Yeah,
and I think RJ up the next night.
I think RJ Barry did something similar a few weeks ago. How he was complaining about the cities, the fans and stuff. And I'm like, first of all, it's everywhere, really. It's just more amplified in New York for sure. And it's dude,
the Big Apple has always been more amplified. I mean, you got to look at the Jets, dude. Look at the Jets. No matter who they get at quarterback, no matter what record they are, the Jets are another big hub. Even the Giants, they're a hub. Everybody wants to just talk about them. It doesn't matter if they're good. It's a city, man. They got too many people packed in there caring about a team that ain't going nowhere. So it's tough to keep their mouth shut. But at the same time, as a player, you got to know you got almost at the end of the day, it's almost always a 50-50 between people that like and hate you. So.
Yeah, you can't really.
You gotta give to what side you care most about.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, man. But not to shy away from the other side of the locker room, getting over here in a quick stint here to the Bruins, man.
Mm-hmm.
They've had a stretch here, and they haven't done too bad. They won 3 straight. They beat Buffalo in overtime 4-3. They beat Detroit 5-1. Beat New Jersey 5-3 the other night.
Big numbers.
Just last night, for real, good and big numbers. But just last night, they went over and played up in Minnesota and took a 3-2 L. So take a little bit on the back burner there. But big news for Bruins fans, something I've been chirping about all year. Tua has finally reached an agreement contract with the Bruins to come back. Now, it's not 100% in pat as to exactly the day, or at least that I know at this moment. But fans, Tua will be back, so the playoff run is on. For anyone that's thought anything differently, I don't know what to tell you. We got the players. We got the goalie back. That's what we needed the entire time. So let's go on a run and do what Bruins do, baby. But for us here on the local sports side, that's it. So we're going to now kick it right on over into our NFL segment for this week. And, man, there is no other place I'd love to start off than with this good old recap of the Bengals and the Chiefs last week, man.
Oh, yeah.
I may have had the Chiefs. Kyle may got his solo. I remember correctly. But we all knew this was going to be a good game. There was no question about it.
Definitely.
Bengals, I can say now, maybe aren't the mediocre team they've always been. They may be turning a corner, but I won't say for sure. What do you think, McGee?
Yeah, no, they're definitely turning a corner, I'd say. I mean, Burrow had another amazing game, over almost 450 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. This guy's playing out of his mind. He's getting more comfortable in the system, and remember, he's coming off an injury too, a really big injury. And he's just been impressive.
No mind the record or nothing like that, but I mean, coming off that leg injury, man, a lot of people weren't thinking he was going to be able to fire right and everything, step hard into his throws. I mean, like you said, near 450 yards, counted 30 for 39. That's only 9 missed passes, 446 yards, 11.4 average, 4 touchdowns, no picks, 4 sacks on 31 rushes, and 148 QB rating. That's damn near perfect.
Yeah, and don't forget, Jamar Chase is going to get offensive rookie of the year.
Yeah, not even a question at this point. I did like Mac Jones at the beginning of the year. I thought he was going to be a good, solid favorite, which this is where it ties in here. For fans, you got to tell me because, honestly, you always have the offensive and then you have the overall rookie of the year.
Right, okay.
Now, in that sense, I would more or less say Jamar Chase gets the overall rookie of the year. Mac Jones gets offensive. But we'll see how they dice it up. And now those media reporters that, Aaron Rodgers has been jumping on, let's see what they think. And if they maybe got it right this time or they keep on getting it wrong.
Yeah, speaking of A-Rod, he's looking for MVP.
Oh, he's been looking for MVP, man. And not to say he doesn't deserve it. I definitely think he does. But everyone that's in here trying to pick him out, pick the MVP, pick the Super Bowl, pump your brakes. Don't forget that man has basically a torn ankle or a partial broken ankle.
Broken foot.
Any moment, someone's going to be diving on that thing. And I'm not saying for accident either. I'm thinking that they're going to be all right. But knowing A-Rod and him having a playoff time comes around and A-Rod playoff boy starts going wild. You're hoping you don't see one of those good old run plays and some man get a good licking on that ankle, I guess I should say. But man, yeah, back to that Chiefs and Bengals game. That thing was back and forth all day. Jamar Chase, 11 of 266 and 3 touchdowns in the day. That 72-yarder being just like he was shot out of a cannon, man. It was basically a slant, and he just beat the safeties to the middle and went. It's been a long time since I've seen the Chiefs defense get gassed like they did in the game. And that was all damn day. That's like AP shit right there. That wasn't no soft stuff. Exactly, man. But, I mean, hey, the Chiefs didn't do too bad on their other side there, but you just got to put it to what it was at the end of the day. They really haven't been the same team that they've always been, and I feel like they've just been maybe a little like a peg down from their normal side they've been on there.
I totally agree.
Yeah, man, for sure. But we don't want to shy away as well. We were talking about the Colts before and how they beat up on those Patriots and how they've been just kind of, ever since that 1-4 start, they've been smashing through the schedule, doing whatever the hell they want. JT leading the way. My MVP for the season, JT, baby. He is an absolute monster, not even a question. And, all those quarterbacks haven't done well enough to beat that boy out. That's all I can say. But the Raiders went in and took them the hell down, man, at their home place over there in Lucas Oil Stadium.
Yep, that's a nice solo for the week.
Yeah, that was your solo. That was a hell of a call, man. I personally just didn't see Derek Carr being able to do enough. But in the end, hey, Zay Jones popped out of nowhere, man, going 8 for 120 on the day.
Yeah.
That was not even – I would have seen that coming because he just hasn't done anything most of the season.
It was a big part of the game for sure.
Hell yeah, he was. Yeah. But don't want to shy away as well, man, because like I said about JT before,
he had the century
mark. He may have broke the streak, but he did break that century mark, like you just said, and he still went 20 carries for 108 and a touchdown on the day. So he's got that. He's going back at that record. Like I said, he may have knocked it down, but rest of the season going into the next season, that record's going to be smashed again. I'm sure he's going to be pounding the ball, whether it's catching it out of the backfield running in or just pounding it right up the gut and in. That man's going to create another big record, I'm sure. And
Yeah.
just amazing season for him.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. And see if they can sneak into playoffs and continue feeding them.
Yeah, man. Who knows? Honestly, you
Jacksonville
get into
coming
those
up.
playoffs and you have a good run game. All you need is a little bit of passing. And Pittman Jr., Mel Alley Cox, Zach Pascal, and T.Y. Hilton now finally healthy in the mix. I thought it was funny. I saw
For how
a
long?
graphic the other day. I think it was like the top 5 longest touchdowns of the year, and 2 of them happened last week. One obviously being Jamar Chase, and then the other one being T.Y. Hilton. One catch for 45 yards and a tutty, baby. Like, damn, that guy still got the wheels? Because I didn't know.
Yeah.
It's been a minute since we've been able to see the wheels going there for him, turning exactly right and not getting hurt too often. But talking about hurting a little bit, and we were talking before, making sure QB1 standing up right over there, number 2 over in Philly with the boys.
Yeah.
Philly took on Washington, man. Washington was my solo, I'm pretty sure, last week. Well, y'all took me the hell down on that one, 20-16. Washington had to lead most of the game. Philly didn't go away quiet, though, and they bumped their way back in there and, slammed in there for a last-minute touchdown to get that win. Hell of a game.
Yeah, definitely. Boston Scott played an amazing game for them.
That was his come-out to a big
He did
game.
great. What's that?
That was his come-out. I mean, he didn't have, mad yards, but receptions, he was 4 for 39, and then he was, even in rushing department, 14, 47, and 2 touchdowns. What matters at the end of the day is he got that damn ball across that line, right?
Yeah, and he's only because Sanders was out and Jordan Howard, he played, but he was injured coming into the game. So
It
that's
stinks,
only
man. Doesn't it feel like those Eagles have every last running back that was good on the last or second to last team they were on?
Yeah, and they'd Gainwell. He only got 1 carry, but he's really good.
He was good in the beginning of the year too. When they weren't really running the ball, he was a very solid option passing out of the
Screen
backfield.
plays and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, screens, everything. But I mean, like you were saying before, and the key for you guys going here down into this playoff run, man, it's going to be Miles Sanders. If he can keep himself healthy and get those wheels turning again right, I think he's going to be a massive key to them because you've seen it. We've seen it overall in the past years. I mean, I had him in fantasy last year, and I hated it for the fact that they didn't run enough. But when they get that boy running, he's got 3 to him in a carry. Easy, not a question.
The Eagles are first in the league in running, so they need to just feed him the ball, stay healthy. I don't expect them to really even play their starters. They have a lot of guys that are on the COVID list that probably could be back in time, but there's no reason for them to try to beat Dallas at this point. So I could see them sitting a lot of starters.
Yeah, it was tough. That was a big thing tough about this week's pick was it's always that last week thing. Are these guys really gunning for this? And there's some teams, really want that top spot. There's the others that are it's going to gas us too much to go for that spot. So let's just settle.
Right.
If we win, we win, but we're not going to send out, the whole cavalry at once to do this job. We're going to,
be honest,
we'll pick and choose.
Yeah, because Dallas is still trying to get a top seed. And honestly, if I'm the Eagles, I wouldn't even play Minshew next week. I'd play whoever you got at third because, I mean, if you're trying to save your most valuable players, you need a backup quarterback going to the playoffs for sure. And Minshew's pretty good backup, I'd say. So if I'm the Eagles,
he's a solid dude, man. And he was a good pickup for you guys. He's a moxie man. He just seems to be like a Philly boy, honestly. Somebody who can slide right in there. Maybe he may not be the best quarterback for the spot, but he's at least a guy who can go in. Like I said, the moxie thing, he has the attitude, the bravado. He can go in and, try to lead a team as opposed to be the guy who comes in and, I guess just seems way too lost to take over the team and really get everyone playing for him, should I say. Yep. So maybe the Minshew mania, the beard, everything will come on around and get them going as well. But Jalen Hurts, man, you can't shy away from how much that guy has done in the last 2 years for this team.
Yeah.
As I know, taking over that first Saints game, people said, this isn't a good thing. It's a great defense. He went out there and he didn't do amazing, but he game managed. He made it happen, got the dub. And ever since, he has some games where he flashes a little more yardage and throws some cute passes. But the man is a down-home game manager. And as long as you got enough dudes around him and dudes willing to bang bodies, do whatever, and run that ball. You've seen in the back half of the year, man, they're gold. They got it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it's nice to see him play this well because, I mean, like you said, he played, what, 3.5 games last year. So, like, this season was really, you look at it as his rookie year, his first full year as a starter, which
And
is
he had
what
a
I
full
love.
off season, no COVID
So,
stuff. Oh,
uh,
not no COVID,
compare
but
his stats
no
to
COVID like pushing everything together in the OTAs. So
yeah.
get a good chance here. Like
Mhm.
unlike some other quarterbacks last year coming in that still did well. I'll say that. But getting over here, we were talking a little before about them boys, man. They went and took on the Cardinals last week. That was one where I was just, I don't know, man. It's tough. You sit there, you want to side with the boys. The Cardinals are kind of coming back out of where they were in their ditch. That was a tough game, but Cardinals 25, boys, or should I say Cowgirls 22. Man, that was a decent game. I'll say that much. And Anton Wesley, 4 receptions for 30 yards and 2 touchdowns. Where the hell did that guy come out of, man? It's like a new dude every week in that offense now that D-Hop is gone.
Yeah, for sure. The Cardinals have been kind of back and forth the last few weeks, so I think we're all a little surprised to see the Cowboys lose. I mean, Dak played amazing, but I mean, you look at like CD and Amari, they didn't really do too much. Zeke,
Yeah, no, it
Zeke had
wasn't too much for them
16
on the day.
yards. So you look at the numbers and you're like, oh yeah, like the Cardinals should have won, but then you're like, Dak played amazing, but I don't see it in anybody else's stats.
Yeah, exactly, right, man. Like the one guy, and I've looked at him all year. It's not to say they win and lose depending on how he does, but if Zeke is having an okay game and third quarter comes around, whatnot, he's not looking as great. The knee may be a little tight. Put him to the sideline. You got a little Tony Pollard in there. That man has been out of a cannon damn near all year, and I think he's the first backup running back in Cowboys history to go over 1,000 all-purpose yards.
Nice.
So, man, did that. He got a 100-yard kick return. And, I mean, we've all seen his wheels. He's just been running away from every defender on the field. More or less, when he gets up to the safety level, it is a track meet to shove him out of bounds because you're almost never going to catch him if you're behind him. You're just watching the tail go, man.
Yeah.
He is definitely a big back, but a back that has major, and I mean major speed. So, tough for me to call, but man, those Cowboys, I don't know if they can be called what they've been called for so long and that they're so fake because it's looking pretty real over there right now, should I say. Even with that loss, they still kept it close, and Dak has been playing damn near out of his mind this year. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
He has been.
Yeah. We'll see how they do in playoffs. It's going to be fun to see all the matchups this coming week because we're going to find out what the seedings are going to be like. We're going to see a lot of shifts. So we'll see who the Cowboys match up against. I wouldn't guarantee him a win against really anyone right now because they've been playing really back and forth.
Yep, and that defense, man, Trayvon Diggs may be a pick master, but when he's not picking off the ball, they're picking him apart on his side of the defense.
Yeah,
that's what not a lot of people are really noticing or understanding if they don't watch these Cowboys games.
Yeah, I mean, props to him. That's really impressive to get. He have 11 picks? That's that's really great. But like he's like the worst cornerback in coverage zones and stuff. Like
exactly. That's why when you look at those pick numbers, I mean, J.C. Jackson, he had a great year last year and he was pretty good, but it was more along the Trayvon Diggs line where he was letting up a lot of yards in between, having to make more tackles and stuff. Kind of like it's always been that kind of way. The cornerbacks usually with the most picks are just the guys that they don't mind throwing it to a whole hell of a lot. So it's how it goes, man, and that's the NFL. And they'll pick you apart if they know they can. So ain't a lie, but the stats good.
Yeah, for sure.
But get over here lastly, I don't want to dive too far, but the Rams, man, beating up on those Ravens. Tyler Huntley, he may have not got dubs in these last 2 weeks, but that dude has been putting up, and that's for sure, man. He went 20 of 32 for 197 and just a pick on the day. Sounds like a terrible rating, sounds like a game, but I'm gonna say right now, what the hell does Lamar do on the daily? He's doing about the same. And I love Lamar Jackson. I ain't gonna be a J and call him a running back because to me he does both of them very well. He has a great arm throwing that ball. May not be as accurate as they want, but you can always get better receivers to go up and have a better radius, unlike they have with Hollywood there and some of those other guys. Mark Andrews kind of being the only real guy they have on that. Rashad Bateman's got to come along. He's only a rookie, so they'll come into their own. But it's nice to see Tyler Huntley holding it down there and almost getting the win for them, actually, last Sunday against those Rams. But, I mean, the Rams came out and they really showed that they could do. Odell with another touchdown. I think that's 5 now in 8 games for him or something like that. Everyone keeps pulling up the graphic of like he had like 20-something games with the Browns and he had 7 touchdowns, and it's like it's whatever it is now in his games with the Rams. And it's hard to put those things together, man, because they don't compare in the end. They really don't.
Yeah.
But, hell of a day by the Rams, so I won't shy away from that. They're still right in that, whole window with the Cards and trying to get the first place. And we'll see, man, because I had called it early in the year. The Cards weren't going to run away with this one. And look at this. Both conferences, everyone's right in the thick of it. And they're, got a lot to do left, to say the least, man. And the last thing I wanted to just quickly mention before we dive off into the next week here, or should I say the beasts of them weeks, is the Buccaneers, man. Antonio Brown.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know what to say. A lot of reports coming out about him, like a broken ankle at this point, whatever it is, whether it's a fracture, technicalities you want to call it. Bruce Arians saying that he didn't know anything about the injury, yet there's text messages of them before the game talking about it. And, man, I hate to say it, but is this just the same old with the NFL trying to pass over injuries and get people out in the field for the fans and, maybe just not give a rat's ass about what happens to them?
To be honest, I don't know. I don't know who to believe about the AB story at all.
I
Like,
know.
injury, or because, like, from what I've seen, it's like AB was complaining that he wasn't getting enough targets, and then BA told him.
Yeah, that was the original report, was the targets, and he wanted to go back.
The original report
in,
was the incentive thing.
Yeah.
And then BA told him to go in, and then he refused to go in.
Yep.
And then the injury, I don't know who to believe, but our close buddy Andrew O'Brien told me today. He goes, "AB is probably the last person I trust." So I really don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah, no, it's tough, dude, because I sit there and I go, right off the bat when we heard it, we heard the I don't want to go back in the game thing, all that. All I could think was, yeah, it's another thing with Antonio Brown. He just never got better, and this is the microcosm of all of this. Everyone shoving him back into football, him going in, never taking time, doing whatever else he needed to do to get his life right. But now these other reports coming out, a lot of people backing. Obviously his agent's going to back him. I don't think your agent would never back you in any situation. But you also have people out there saying you don't know the full situation. One being Tom Brady, who day one sounded like he was actually upset with Antonio. So it's a tough balance. Even now, it's talking about balances coming out that maybe AB owed, or he had paid $100K to TB12 Sports, to get all their stuff, be able to get his body worked on, and I guess even through into now in the season, he never got any of those services. So he had contacted AG to get 50 grand of his 100 grand back, and he was okay with that. So everyone joking about the Better Business Bureau and them filing for some shit or whatnot, but I mean, man, at the end of the day, it's Antonio freaking Brown. The dude is either a clown or he's doing right for what he can. And if the report is what it was, the last one that came out and what he's been saying, all I can say is go AB, free AB. Maybe not for this season. Like, you got to get healthy, man. But I'll be honest, if you really had the things happen that you say happen, I trust it, because you see enough of the concussions and all that other stuff they try to breeze over. This could turn a new leaf in the NFL if more players start to speak up on behalf of themselves and other players going forward with injuries, personal matters, what it have be. But I won't say that's every team. There's just some out there that are like that. So we'll pop on over next, though, to the absolute fan favorite of our section. It's our Beast of the Week here. And I cannot shy away from the man who absolutely went off. He went on the day against the big bad Chiefs, 11 receptions for 266 for 24.2 on the average on the day, 3 touchdowns with a 72 reception being his longest. And don't forget, it's on 12 targets. Only one didn't get there. That is the Bengals, Jamar Chase for our AFC players. Beats of the week. Hell of a man, hell of a day. Even as a rookie, y'all saying he couldn't catch the ball. He's saying, get the hell out of here, man. I got this and some. And the dub. We going to the playoffs. They even had their coach over there crying in the post game. I couldn't believe it, man. But congrats to them finally getting that division. It's been a long since they had all them old boys back in the 80s and 90s. So we get over here next, though, to our NFC player, man. And this was a tough, grinded out one because we had a lot of boys, 3 of them on the same team, because they just were going absolutely wild on the day. But I have to, and I really mean have to, go with the man who may not be with the team no more, the one that has been talking all off season, signed back, but didn't know if he was going to cause a heart attack for his fans. That's Russell Wilson, man. He went 20 of 29 on the day, 236, 4 touchdowns, only sacked 1 time. That's no picks for a 133.1 rating on the day. And that is our NFC players' Beast of the Week. Hell yeah, man. Great week for them. And honorable mention, I got to go out and shout out a man, Christian Wilkerson, number 17 on the Patriots. Dude just came off the practice squad 2 weeks ago. Put up 4 receptions for 42 yards, a 10.5 average for 2 touchdowns against them Jag Kitties. Maybe an easy day to come out and do it, but it's still an NFL team and everyone's getting paid. So hell of a day to the man. Caps off to all of you beasts of the week. And we'll roll on over here next to the predictions for this week, man. I don't even know what to say, but we all know it's week 18, so it is one of those times where we look at this list, we question every goddamn pick possible because we don't even know who the hell's playing, COVID, whatnot, people sitting. Who knows how we're going to end up this week, man. We got some tied records. You are now at the top after this week, surpassing all of us by a mile, so we'll see, man. But we'll start over here with Kansas City on Saturday, 4 o'clock game against those Broncos, man. I think we all got KC on this one.
Yeah.
And I think that should be a solid pick, honestly. I don't see the Broncos putting up much of a fight. Like we talked about last episode, those receivers have not really shown up consistently enough. And the only man that really has, and at this point it don't matter to the fantasy fans no more, or at least those that are done, was Javonte Williams. And I know you know a lot about that boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had himself a year, man. He really did.
Definitely.
Damn sure. But we'll get over next, though, to Big D taking on Philly. Man, last game on Saturday, that nightcap. You, me, and Kyle got Big D. But got Jay over there in the
Philly. You don't got Big D. Jason got Big D.
No, man, he doesn't. He's a little types. But we come over here, though, because we're thinking, man, I really want to go Eagles, but like you were saying, with everything going on, them not needing this game since they're in,
and Dallas
there's no other way to go. I mean, hell, you even take out half the receivers for Dallas, and they still got Cedric Wilson and all these, Gallup, who I swear to God could be their number 1 receiver if they just didn't have the other guys there.
Mm-hmm.
The dude is, absolute. You can't even box him out in basketball. I swear he'd jump up for every damn rebound or nothing. Even alley-oops, that dude has it all, bro. He's got the bag in that body. But we get over next here to the first 1 o'clock game on the Sunday slate. That is the Washington football team, the team where everything's crumbling around them. At least they don't have to be in their home stadium this week. They go down, or should I say up, to East Rutherford, New Jersey, over there in the swamp. And we all got the football team this week. I think it's only right. Heineke should be showing up, throwing, that old Corvette there, McLaurin, the ball, and doing some awesome shit, to say the least, man. But we'll skip on over next quickly because that one doesn't matter too much. It ain't going to be nothing on the week. But the team that just locked up the AFC North, those Bengals, the Battle for Ohio, the former 2 teams in 1 stadium, man. We got them going out to see the Browns over there in Cleveland. Bakerless Browns. I'm pretty sure it's Case Keenum in there at the helm this week. You and I got the Browns, and then Kyle and Jay got the Bengals. I know Kyle's riding high off of that last week win from them, so probably just sniffing a little too much of his own. But, I mean, it's going to be a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think the Bengals are going to play all their starters? No. Do I think they're even going to play them half the game? Probably not. That's a team that really needs to rest them, I honestly believe. And hopefully they do for you and I's sake, because these boys got to get taken down this week, man. Not even a question. But we'll go over next as well. Another split front here. Jay and I are taking Pittsburgh in the Pittsburgh-Baltimore matchup, and you and Kyle got Baltimore, man. How do you feel about that pick? And going into this, what do you think? Does it matter who's at quarterback for Baltimore?
No. So I wouldn't say so, because like you were saying, how both the quarterbacks are like so similar in their play the last like 2 weeks they've been playing, and I'm assuming Big Ben is gonna play, right?
I mean, man, if he doesn't play, I don't know what the hell they're gonna do, because I couldn't imagine him going out on top on Monday night and then not seeing the field again.
Yeah. So
you got to give him a chance to get that second dub to finish it out.
I just don't see a big game out of him. Like, I feel like he might, like, here's my prediction. Here's my bold prediction.
I definitely feel you on that. Sorry, go.
Big Ben's going to have bad games. He's going to have 1 or 2 picks, bad yardage, maybe 1 touchdown. He'll have more interceptions than touchdowns. He's going to play bad, and he's going to come back another year, maybe for Pittsburgh, maybe for someone else. He's going to come back. He said, I'm not going out that bad. Monday was great, but today's...
I'm going to say right now, how the hell can Big Ben have what he had the other night on Monday night? What is that, half an hour after the game, there's still cameras everywhere. How can he have that and come back on the field, man?
Yeah.
That's more than Brett Favre.
He come back on the field. Not only that, but can he repeat the performance, which he won't. He's gonna try to. He's gonna do bad.
Now, I don't think he can repeat the performance, but it wasn't a milestone marker great performance by any means, honestly. He got by, and I'll say right now, Najee Harris was going to be possibly, if what's his name? If Jamar Chase wasn't a player of the week, Najee Harris went 28 carries for 188 touchdown, 6.7 on the average for carries. If the Steelers are to win this game, which I say right now they're going to win, I do believe it's going to be on the back of Najee Harris, man. And just maybe, book Fairmouth for a touchdown, anytime score, because that man, he's going to be splitting that defense down the middle now that they got nobody in that linebacker court.
He's like the best guy to put anytime touchdown for, I swear.
Yeah, Fairmouth?
Yeah.
Fairmouth. Yeah, dude, he's pretty good. And the Steelers, yet again, after last week, Tomlin has not still had a losing season in Pittsburgh and in his career, because that's the only place he's head coach. So
15 years.
Hell of a job by him. I mean, I say hell of a job, but I say what the, because man, I'm sick of them damn Steelers being even close to the conversation every year. They suck just to pick it up at the end and make their way and just barely get to the 8-8. This year maybe the 8-8-1, but dirty old Lions ruining that one for them. But speaking of those dirty old Lions, we're going to go over here next to Green Bay going over to Ford Field to take on the Lions, man. This one ain't hard, and we all got Green Bay on this one. It's going to be a rout. It's just another week where I say, as long as Aaron Rodgers is 1,000% ready to go, man, pick anyone on that offense for an anytime touchdown, because they literally could put up 50 points this week if they want to. But like I always say, they ain't trying to kill old Campbell over there in the coaching department. They're trying to keep him around so they can smack him up next year. That's all. But we'll get over next to one that we had a little animosity over, because we're not sure. That is the Colts going over to Jacksonville, man. I think we had talked before, they haven't won since 2014 or something in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Back when Jay was actually a fan before the Flakegate. But yeah. You, me, and Kyle got Indy, but Jay over there is beating that Jacksonville drum, man. Little Trevor Lawrence magic. I don't see it, but
I don't either. But you never know.
Think it's going to be even close?
I don't know. I was saying I take their spread. It's at like 15-5 right now.
15. Now you don't think it's gonna be close at all, then, man?
I think it's.
Or are
gonna be
you going
close.
for the under?
Yeah, no, you take the Jacksonville spread. Yeah, it's gonna be close, I think.
Yeah. All right. No worries. Just checking up on that to be sure on a pick there. But yeah, we go over next though, and another team getting smacked around last week is the Vikings, and the one that did the smacking was the Bears of the Giants. So Bears, Vikings. Kyle and I got Chicago. You and Jay got Minnesota. How you feel about this one, and who do you think is going to be the breakout man to really push this game over?
I think it's a 50-50. It's gonna come down to the running backs for both teams. Yeah, I don't put too much invested into it. I really think it's a 50-50 call.
Yeah, and my big thing, honestly, on the weekend, why I'm really going to beat those Bears drum again is because, well, not again because I didn't pick them last week. I tried to pick against them and lost bad. But why I'll beat the Bears drum this week anyway is because who the hell do we got at quarterback for the Vikings, man? Is it going to be Kirk Cousins? And if it isn't, I mean, I've been saying all year I want to see Kellen Mond. I really want to see the man. And for them putting in whatever the heck the dude's name was last week before Kellen Mond was a disservice to him because they got to get that guy out there. Texas A&M product. That dude has a absolute cannon for an arm. So there's no reason he shouldn't be out there and trying to at least get that ball distributed to what are pretty goddamn good receivers, very fast receivers, guys that he's basically worked with in college. So for my side, if Kellen Mond is the quarterback of this team, just maybe they have the shot. But other than that, I think the Bears are going to fundamentally put them in the dirt and kick some on top of them and end that game pretty early, honestly. I don't think it's going to be too close. Or not too close, but I don't think it's going to be too much of a fight for him, should I say.
Yep.
But we'll get over next here to the last one, the 1 o'clock window, the Titans and the Texans. We all got the Titans. That should be a rout. If Davis Mills does what Davis Mills can do, 300-yard game, couple touchdowns, Brandon Cook's cooking up. Maybe a little bit of a difference, but I ain't going to call that because that's probably the furthest thing from reality right now, being the last week of the season. But Derrick Henry should be back for these playoffs. I'm sure they won't waste him on this game. But things are turning around for those Titans there, so we'll see how that all goes down at 1 o'clock on Sunday. But we get over the 4 o'clock window, we have the Falcons taking on in those Taysom Hill Saints, man. Taysom Hill, man, who could still possibly lead that team to a playoff run, barring a million things happening in one. But we'll go over here. Kyle, me, and Jay all got the Saints. What in the hell has got you beating that Atlanta drum, man?
Atlanta's got nothing to lose. They're gonna get this dub. You'd be surprised. Mark the solo down now.
They better prove me wrong, man. Lindstrom and the boys, they better do what they gotta do. And,
you're going against family, bro.
Put the Saints down, man. That Saints defense, though, that's the thing for me. It's a very tough defense to play. In every game, they even haven't had the second quarterback in. They've still been in just because of how well they can play on the D side and special teams. But like you said, Atlanta's got nothing to lose, man. They're going to be running, gunning, and I swear, I think you're going to see a couple 50-yard bombs from Matt Ryan on Sunday.
Okay.
Dude has got nothing to lose. Like you said, he's going to air that thing out. And we'll see if he ends himself back in Atlanta next year or some crazy shit happens and gets flipped around the league maybe. But we'll get over next to a huge game in this window. It may not be big for the Seahawks, but those Cardinals really need this game to stay up in the position they're in right now. And, all of us but Kyle, we got the Cards. Kyle's sitting there pretty with Seattle. That's a game I wanted to pick Seattle. I want to be the man who says they got it. But I don't know, man. I mean, the Lions stuck around last week. Not that they were right there, but they were scoring most drives in the second half on them. So whether it was them just kind of playing the prevent too much early, but I don't know, man. It just is not the same Seattle Seahawks. Even that offense is finally kind of taking a turn, not for the worst, but the Lions only made it look good for them is what I'll say.
Yeah, and we just saw Arizona should be getting J.J. Watt back for the first round of playoffs.
Oh, really? Man, I would say that makes a difference, but I'll just put it out there now. The first ever playoff game I went to was the Texans against the Pats. This is back when the Texans were powerhouse. I think Clowney was a rookie, 45-10, absolute rout, and they were the number one offense that year in the league. So I put it out here now. Almost every time J.J. Watt has played the Patriots, he basically either broke his back, broke something in, a rib, hurt himself, strained something so bad he didn't play for weeks. Is J.J. Watt going to be the absolute difference maker for that team? Or is he kind of going to be a ghost out there and be like a James Harrison when he came to the Pats, just be that guy who can float out when they absolutely need a guy?
I think his presence will definitely make a difference. I think he can be the difference between a win and a loss in the playoffs.
Really?
In the playoffs, yeah.
I think he's going to be getting around that edge and maybe getting some sacks over there?
We'll see. I mean, I might not see it in his stats, but I think you could just see in his play and just his presence on the field with the defense.
Yeah, getting some pressures, maybe taking on some double teams.
Yeah.
I definitely think he's still got it.
He'll be a threat.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think he could be. I don't want to down talking too much. The Watt brothers are a big bunch in the crew there, just like the Bronx. But for me, the only reason I say it is because that man has been taking on the double teams forever. And, I mean, he isn't the biggest guy. He really is a pretty small, D end at the end of the day. But like you said, I think as well, it could be the non-stat factor, but really just, separating guys, creating the edge on the line to, get the run kick back inside, stuff them up, whatnot. Could be a good game. Could be a blowout. So we'll see how it goes. But we'll go over here next in the 4 o'clock window to Buffalo, taking on the Jets, man, and bringing them on up there to the lake. That should be a fun time, but we all got Buffalo. I don't think it's going to be a question. Josh Allen has a chance to get himself set back on track and not looking like Shat like last week in the snow. So we'll see how that goes, man. But the Jets have not been quiet, and Braxton Berrios, of all people, the expatriate, has been showing up and showing out. Suso, baby, all year. That is for sure. So how you feel about this next one, though, with the Panthers, man? Cam Newton less? Panthers, and Sam Darnold going over and taking on those Bucks. We all got the Bucks, but it should be a good game.
Yeah, it really depends who plays for Tampa Bay, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, they just don't have realistically, they just don't look like they have any receivers at the moment. So it's kind of one of those things where even if Mike Evans was healthy, like, do they want to waste a game on a dude like this? Does the playoff spot matter that much to them because of how they did it last year and won a chip? I don't think it matters to them as much. Do they want to be home? Sure, but is it killing them to go on the road and beat up on a team just as bad? Probably not. I don't think it's going to matter as much.
If Tom's in there, I'll mark it a W. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, it's tough, man. There's not many times where Tom Brady is going to put up that, 15-year hasn't happened stinker like he did 2 weeks ago. And, it took him losing his best running back, his best linebacker, and 2 of his best receivers to do it. So I think with a little more continuity coming through this week, big man on campus, I will say now, not even a question, book him down for a touchdown is going to be Scotty Miller, baby. Don't forget it. Number 10, Speedster Miller. That dude is going to absolutely tear up, bro, if he is on point this week, or weekend, should I say. But we'll get over next to a game where we had to have another solo, and this one is it's a sweet one because we all know how this record goes. This is a tale as old as time when the Patriots head on down to Miami to take on those Finns, baby. Are they going to fry them up this time, or are they going to get fried themselves? You, me, and Kyle all got the Pats. But Jay's over there sneaking around with those Dolphins, man. I don't know.
It's not a bad pick.
Not a bad pick at all. And I'll be honest, I'm very surprised that no one else picked the Dolphins this week. I know Kyle and I are a little too homer to do it, but I don't think you'd be sitting pretty on the Pat side either. A little surprising there.
Yeah, I mean, I know they already clinched, but I think Max is going to go have a good game. I think they're all going to play smart and to get a little revenge from week 1.
Damn sure, man. You can't drop those bold. I mean, you can't. Even if you got it wrapped, man, I mean, it's just the Patriots need to go in and do what they have to do. There's been a lot of years where they've been in playoff position, kind of slept through the last week, and then you see the wild card round. 2012, Brady was unanimous MVP. What happens in wild card weekend? Ray Rice goes off for an 87-yard touchdown in the first play, and the Ravens basically wrapped it up from damn snap one. So either you're in or you're all out. So for me, I'm all freaking in. Patriots are going to rout these motherfuckers. No problem, baby. Let's get it. New England to the Super Bowl?
I don't know about that.
But if Mac plays hot, man, let's see where this train leads us to. That's for damn sure. But that running game has got to stay healthy. That's for damn sure. And speaking about healthy and people just seeing the field, we'll get over here next to the man with a broken back who just went from a terrible team to one of the best. He's sitting pretty in second place in the NFC. That is Matt Stafford and those Rams over in SoFi. They're going to welcome in the 49ers, and whether it's going to be Garoppolo or Trey Lance, we may not know at the moment. But I'm going to say right now, we're all going Rams except for Jay again, who's going with the 49ers. I think the Rams need this game way too much to lose it. Even if Stafford has a bad game, I think they find some way to do it. And I think it'll be a low-scoring game at the most. I really do. I think it'll be in the teens or lower. Don't think it's going to be much.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those games, man. It's going to be grind it out. But like we're saying, to grind it out, we have the last game here on the schedule. Sunday night. Last game of the absolute regular season. That is the Chargers going to the Death Star over there in Las Vegas to take on the Raiders. We all got the Chargers, man. That shouldn't be a question to me. It should be an absolute rout. But you think the Raiders have any chance of spoiling that day for them?
The Raiders?
Yeah.
You talking about? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's gonna be a good game for sure, I think. I have the Chargers going to get the W, but I mean, even last week Vegas won, they snuck out a dub. Derek Carr's been playing pretty good all season. It's gonna be a fun matchup, and if actually they they could control their own destiny if they let if Jacksonville beats the Colts at 1:00, then these two teams could make an alliance and just tie the game, and they could both they could both make playoffs and tie.
Teams playing.
But
the first time that ever happens.
There's no mercy in the NFL though, so I don't expect that to happen.
No, I don't either, man. And for me personally, I understand the game is as tough as it is, whatnot, all this crap, and bodies are beat down. I mean, for them even put an extra week on the season to me was just stupid. There's no reason for it. Besides them trying to mix up everything, playoffs, make things more chaotic, just like the season went. It's pretty much how they planned it, I'm sure. But teams being able to tie, I've had a real issue with that for a long damn time.
Mm-hmm.
You should have a kickoff battle or a field goal battle at the end of the game to decide whether a team is going to tie or not. Like there should be no reason in a professional sport that you have a tie.
Just do it like college football.
Yeah, exactly right. Anything to just not have a tie, man. Because at the end of the year, these things figure in, and what are you going to do if they do tie? And Jacksonville does win. What's going to happen then? You're going to have to create a whole nother slot in the midweek for a game, and then that team's going to complain like the Steelers did last year with their COVID shit because, we got our schedule messed up. And, mental is a big thing for these guys, and they got to prep every week to be on the, on the same, should I say, like the same clock, I guess, in their head. And just like quarterbacks are in the middle of a game, they got to be on that clock during the week. And to mess with it, it ain't easy for them. This is definitely to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, realistically, that is all we have as well here on this NFL side. All the scenarios to the side and everything that people already know. But we're going to get over here next, and I'll have Magee take this old bad boy away because we're going to head on over to the NBA segment and maybe start off a little hockey.
What you want to start off with?
Oh, whatever you want in the NBA. We start with the Celtics. You start whatever, man. I saw Udoka the other night sitting there talking, maybe a little shit, if you want to call it, saying how his team's a little too soft right now. They maybe have been collapsing in the second half of every single game they've been in lately. Bro, Udoka could have said this last year. You could have said it for the last 3 years. This has been the microcosm of the Celtics and why the Celtics have been, not to say trash, but damn near literal trash for the last couple of years. And every time they get a close win, they're lucky, man. They're just lucky. It's like those baskets are 10 sizes bigger, and they're just going in like nothing. They don't show the fight that they used to show with the old team.
No, the Celtics definitely collapsed. They always have. They had a 25-point lead with 4 minutes left in the third. They were up by 20 in the fourth. They completely blew it.
Oh
And
yeah,
like,
easily, man. And
like
I realistically thought there's no way they should blow this last night, but I thought as well right before I went to bed they could do it.
my
I
biggest
believe in them.
my biggest question was watching that game was why are they not feeding Tatum at all? And two, why is Dennis Schroeder on the court the entire fourth quarter? Those are the two things that came to my
Yeah,
mind.
I mean, man, I don't even know what to say. Honestly, it's tough to even to put it out there into what they're doing at this point. I know Udoka's got a lot to figure out, but I'll say it right now, he better figure it out fast because guess what? This team was still decent last year, had a chance at the end to make playoffs with Brad Stevens. Now, I won't kill him too much in the GM position for, year one, because this really is just the team he was coaching that he took over as a GM. But I mean, Udoka is supposed to come in and create that vibe of we're gonna fight. We're gonna be tough bad boys, or at least not pussy boys. And all I've seen from the Celtics this year is a whole lot of the same. It's Marcus Smart, it's Jaylen Brown, and newly acquired Dennis Schroeder being the absolute dogs on the court. And Jason Tatum, all these other boys are just soft as shit, like runny baby shit.
It just seems like the whole team is pretty inconsistent. And
Yeah,
yeah, like you said, like I don't know if it's the coaching that's the issue, or I mean, when he's talking to the
I think
media,
it's
it's
a
like,
lack
oh
of
yeah, I'm saying all the right things to these guys. They're just not going with it, and it's like,
yeah, they're not
well,
receiving it well. They're not. It's not translating to the
but
court. Like
is that the truth
some of that
though?
movement
Is that,
too. But
but is that the truth,
exactly.
or are you just not coaching them correctly? Because like you said, Brad Stevens didn't do this bad. It's basically the same roster.
Yeah, it's basically the same roster. You got Skinny Grant out there now, who's been doing a heck of a lot better. That's like the one. Him and Rob Williams are the two big bright spots I feel like this year for the team. And people that even when they're down, those dudes are out in that court picking up play at any moment, like a Smart and stuff like that. Um, I mean, I'll put it out there right now. Jaylen Brown being out as much as he had this year with injuries, that has been a huge, and I mean huge, detrimental piece to that team. Like I always say, I'll beat the drum to the end of my life, man. If that's tomorrow or if that's 40 years from now or more, Jaylen Brown is the star of this team. Jason Tatum may put up those cute, pretty boy points, but nobody's doing the dirty work like Jaylen does or like Marcus Smart does. And if you're gonna go anywhere, you need your star doing dirty work, man. You need it, dude. I don't care. Y'all see LeBron out there. He may be a little bit of a little bitch, but at the end of the day, he's still diving on the floor. He's still getting in the mix and scrapping and whatnot. And that's because he's a damn champion, man. He's got the heart of a champion. He's got the passion. Where the hell's the freaking passion on this damn Celtics squad? It ain't there. It ain't been there.
Yeah,
That's how I see
you say Jaylen Brown is the man on the team, but it's going to be the man on the team come February when the trade deadline approaches.
it. Well, yeah, you never know when that all comes around. And to be honest, I'll be real right now. Yeah, I think he still will be on the team. I still think he will be the man of the team. Uh, Brad being Brad, I don't think he's going to want to make a move. I feel like he's learned a little too much from Danny Ainge, and I feel like it's a hell of a lot. The same is the same, man. I don't think a lot's going to change around that roster. And
Well, it
obviously,
needs
we
to.
talked about before. I don't think there's much room for them to change on this roster.
Well, it needs to because you're not making the play-in tournament.
Yeah, no, they definitely aren't, man. And to be honest, I don't even know. I really don't. They have no direction. That's the biggest thing. That's the toughest thing to gauge with them. So that Celtics talk right there in this bubble, man.
Yeah. Let's get on to a
Yeah,
more
coach bubble.
positive note. We're
Damn
seeing
straight.
we're seeing a new statue come out to a stadium out west. The former 2011 NBA champion Dirk Nowitzki is finally getting a statue right outside of the Mavericks stadium. Mark Cuban promised
Yeah.
that he would get him one, and now it's going to be here. I think in 2 years, maybe. I think it's going. He showed a little display of it. It looked pretty cool.
Oh,
So that's
damn.
pretty
So what is
awesome.
this thing like? The Statue of Liberty? You gotta make our way over on the boat?
Yeah, for real, bro. But it's pretty cool though. It's him doing a fadeaway, and it has like three basketballs,
I
I
was gonna
guess.
say, yeah, I thought I saw. Didn't they have like a micro one that they gave him at the game or something?
Yeah, or
Yeah,
just
I saw that thing. I thought it was
yeah.
pretty cool, honestly. It looks dope. And I mean, to be honest, it's not to down talk them, but who else in the Dallas Mavericks has been that solidified
Yeah.
star of their team for long enough? It's been Dirk, man.
Yep.
Dirk
Dirk
is the
is
only
their
one standing
he is
over
their
him.
franchise, really.
Yeah, he really is, man. He's the entire team. So, hats off to him. Hell of a career and hell of a great time beating down those Miami Heat in that first run at a championship, man. I couldn't even. Oh,
JJ
that
Barea
was like
locking up
music to the
LeBron.
ears, man. Yeah, Jason Terry nailing them threes,
Klay.
getting as hot as hell, man. That was just reminiscent, man. I'll say that much. Great
Yeah,
time.
that was a crazy and well deserved for Dirk. Great career, legend for sure.
Oh yeah,
Um,
for sure, man.
we can move on to little more of the wild side of the NBA.
Wow.
Little controversy that we saw in the Wizards game with the
Oh yeah.
announcers with Kevin Porter Jr. So a little rundown of what happened. KPJ had a nasty clutch shot. It was a three. It was like a fading three. Drained it, and the
Yo.
announcer goes, "Oh, Kevin Porter Jr. Pulls the trigger at a perfect time, just like his dad." And what's going on is the announcer is thinking Kevin Porter, the former Baltimore Bullet player from the '80s, what is Kevin Porter
Right.
Jr.'s father, which they're not related at all. And
Oh man.
unfortunately, coincidentally, KBJ's real dad was involved with gun violence, was committed of murder, and was murdered by a gun. So it was
Yo.
terrible coincidence, unfortunate.
Oh yeah.
And he's got a ton of backlash out of it. We saw
Yo.
we saw earlier from like LeBron was like calling for his head, which is like kind of crazy. Like I don't know how you feel about it. To me, it's an honest mistake. Yeah, number one, do your job right. Do your research first. Like
Yo.
I'll call you you're a bad announcer, and you did your job poorly. Like you're bad at your job.
Yeah. And it's tough too, because
I
like I
understand
was
it's a
talking to you
mistake,
guys about
but
it. Yeah. You what?
no, I was gonna say I understand it's a mistake, but like you got to understand, like first of all, it's your team. Like you got to understand what's going on. Like they're
Yeah, and you
playing
have to
these
know your
guys.
history. That's
Yeah,
where it comes back. 'Cause you have to know the history, and you have to know that that wasn't his father. You just have to know that. And besides the fact, I'll say this with the whole LeBron thing, and we kind of talked about yesterday. Y'all know how I feel about LeBron. I don't like the guy very much. I think he stands for a lot of things that he truly doesn't stand for. But I'll say this on the end of his stuff. Now, that announcer is certainly wrong for saying what he said. Do most announcers say that on almost every night in sports, though? Yes. Probably know what they're talking about, though? Yes. So that's where, like, you got to separate the differences. Like, he needed to do the research to know whether he was his father if he's going to use that line. And
yeah.
I get it. You probably didn't expect a game winner, let alone by him. So you got to pull something out of the bag. And if you're however many years into it, probably feel pretty confident in saying it, even if you don't know it.
Oh,
But
he said
we'll
that with
put this out
confidence.
there. Oh, he
Just like
said it with major confidence. There was no question in his mind that was his father, and that was sad. But
you can't make that
like I
assumption.
said, but yeah, everyone makes mistakes, man. And I guess I put this for everyone to eviscerate him for making that one mistake. Let's go back, just roll back a little longer, and let's see whatever mistakes those people made in their profession, and or any other announcers that I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't even know or have seen another announcer call them out because I'm damn sure other announcers have done the same thing. Even if it's not as bad, they've made the same sort of mistake, same type, whatever. And it's just one of those things where he's gonna learn from it. And going forward, I'm sure he'll be 1,000% more calculated when he's saying these things. But this is also kind of a thing to
He has an
every
opportunity.
announcer. Oh, definitely. He certainly has the opportunity to turn that around. But to say he's a bad announcer, I wouldn't say that. The dude sounds like he's an awesome announcer. It sounds like he just made one bad mistake, like pretty damn bad mistake, but one where, if he can, go to, Kevin Porter or at least get some form of, talking to him and hash it out with him, see, however to make it better and going forward, however he can write his career because everything I've ever heard of the guy before, nothing out of it, but great announcing. So for him doing that one time, man, everybody's made a mistake. We'll roll through that, and just do your job a little better and do that research before you say it. That's really all I have to say about it. And for everyone that eviscerates him, y'all know you've made mistakes, so cut it out.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that for sure.
Yeah,
We'll move on with it. We don't want to stick too long on that because it's kind of all unnecessary at this point. Everyone's talking about it. Everybody has their own opinions.
oh yeah, damn sure.
What we're going to move on to is the opinions of just the fans alone in the NBA. We just got some all-star votings released for the first release of the fan votes, and I forgot to actually check. I think the fan votes are like 50% of the all-star voting. It's either 50 or 25.
Yeah. And then you got the media and like the.
And then it's the media and the rest of the league.
Yeah.
So far for the captains that would be out there, which is the leading vote getters for each conference. The first one, it would be Steph Curry, which is kind of weird because he's having a back and forth season. It's not even it's not his best season or anything like that.
Yeah.
But Curry for the West, and then for the East, it's his former opponent or his former teammate, KD.
Yeah. Yep.
And
it's a battle right there.
Yeah, so and fan votes are 50%, and then the current players and media members are 25-25.
Yeah.
So that's how the voting goes.
Damn, man. And you were saying before too. There, what's his name? There, Klay ended up a little on that list. So did Kyrie Irving.
Yep. So we have Klay, who remember hasn't played in 2 years. He's fourth in guards. He's above Devin Booker, above Dame. And then like I said earlier, we have Kyrie in there, sixth in guards for the East,
and he just played his first game of the season.
Yeah,
as a part-time player.
And he didn't miss a beat too. He's been playing really well.
Yeah, I'll be honest. He's a good player, and I don't want to crap on dudes like that. But let's be honest. If you're voting, one, we'll talk about the percentage vote. There's no reason fans should get 50% of a vote. That's insanity. Those people are back and forth, flipping, flopping. I don't care how great of a fan you think you are and how much you're not a homer. At the end of the day, you're going with the goddamn dude in your team when you're voting for Pro Bowl, whatever it have to be, All-Stars. But besides that whole end of it, to even put Klay Thompson or Kyrie Irving on the list just shows that you don't give a rat's ass about anything of where those votes go and who gets them, and them being right at the end of the day, because that's clearly wrong, 1,000% wrong.
Yeah, this is what happens when you give fans the votes, and I think 50% is like fair enough, because we were talking earlier, if it was 25, it's like they should definitely be 50 for the fans. And
see, I would think, why wouldn't the NBA people get 50, media and fans split 25-25? That to me sounds more realistic, because I'll be honest, most media people do not have a sports degree or anything, haven't been close enough to sports unless they're a former player or coach, which most don't, and they don't want to do that shit afterwards. It's more of a job. So to me, there's no reason that media people either should get anywhere near that percentage. They need to be dumbed down too.
The media, I don't like having at all.
It's really hard to even have them in there, honestly.
I want the coaches and GMs to get a vote, but not be able to vote for their own guys.
Yes, exactly. But then you got that's a whole new can of worms on that end, I'll say. But like you're saying about that before, and I can just I'll revert back to two different cases here. One being the Kansas City Royals back in, was it 14 or 15 or something, they were going on their run. They had every single slot in the All-Star game filled by one of their players because of the fan vote. And they were going to roll with it, but then the MLB went and scratched the whole thing and made people re-vote. Thank God, because it got at least some people in there that, was more deserving than especially some of their crappy players, or just not as, real all-stars, should I say. But then we also have, we were talking about the media side, Kurt Schilling. That dude has been battling the media for years just to get in the Hall of Fame. And his percentage is always like a couple points off of being able to get in or whatnot. Yeah. And I mean, not to get too political, but that's the reason is everybody notices he's so far to one side and no one likes it, and so they won't let him in. That to me is the 100% reason why media people they can't be doing this no more because they just ruin who should be where almost every time.
Yeah. Well, keep in mind this is just for fans right now. One thing I want to point out that I'm very disappointed in: this man has missed All Stars all the time, year after
Yeah.
year, putting up 30 points a freaking game, not making an All Star game. Bradley Beal is not on this list once again. You want to know who is on this list?
Seriously.
You know who's in front? He's not even in the top 10 for guards or top 20 at all for the East. Tyler Harrow, Derrick Rose, Fred VanVleet. Why are these guys on this list? Why is Bradley Beal?
You know why? You said it's a fan vote, right?
Yeah.
It's because they're fan damn favorites, man. There ain't no other way around it. VanVleet, especially Hero. VanVleet's actually like a real baller.
Rose for New York.
Tyler Hero, man. He is what he's called. He's the hero. He's the guy who comes in when he can and can actually do the job. How many times you see that dude not make those shots and not make the plays that he needs to make? These are just fan favorites for when a dude dives on a ball at the end of the game and saves the game. That's all it is, bro.
Bradley Beal's the man. I hope he'll get in there for sure. He'll get his vote. I think he'll get it. Miles Bridges.
On the real, Bradley Beal, 2021 and 2022, damn near every year going forward should be all-star, man. Not even a question.
Yeah. I was saying one other guy I like there is Miles Bridges. He's gonna get the bag this summer from Charlotte.
Yep.
But moving on, we talked last time about all like the 10-day contracts and stuff like that people are signing.
Oh yeah.
We saw a couple moves, like we saw Boogie. He just got released off his 10-day from the Bucks, and they said they want to do that in order to make some more room to get some trades going during the deadline. So we see teams already kind of looking forward to that. But there's also been some guys that have been really performing really, really well. One of them, Lance Stevenson, putting up 20 points a game, couple almost doubles, close to triple doubles. Like for the Pacers, again, remember, so they're giving him a shot from where he really shined last.
Exactly. And man, he lit it up against the Nets the other day. I was watching that game, and in the first quarter alone, he had 20 points alone in the first quarter. KD, Harden, and Irving all had 20 points combined in that quarter. So, like, realistically, did I think the Nets were going to get the dub? Yes. Did I think they were going to win by that much? No.
Lance making dance.
Lance Stevenson held them up for 3.5 quarters, basically, man. He did what he had to do, and, everyone else just kind of lost it around him is really what happened.
So we'll see if he can make do with his contract what Bismack Biyombo did, because Bismack, if you remember that old head, he signed that 10-day with the Suns, and they signed him for the rest of the season.
Dude, and hey, he's been a threat, man. He may not be like that offensive dude, but he's kind of like the old Perkins, man. He's just that big body down low, that can play some good solid defense, get you some good passes out and everything. He ain't the greatest, but he definitely ain't a load of crap. That's for sure.
Yeah, and just with the Suns, that's the question that keeps coming up. And I know Bismack, he's not going to be there next year. He's not going to be part of their big future. But like their other center, Ayton, it's like, come on. I don't know if I think they can still sign extensions. I'm pretty sure.
Is it a wake up call for Ayton right now, though?
I wouldn't say so. Like I think because he's not a threat to his position. Like Bismack's not going to be there for the long haul, and Ayton needs the 5-year deal.
Even for this year, like, is this a wake up call for this year? Like, we may be a great team or at least above average, but pick up your play, or else this year this dude's taking up. Like, not maybe taking over, but he's going to be in more meaningful minutes. You're starting to disappear.
If Bismack Biyombo comes back to the league and takes your minutes, that's a wake up call for sure.
Oh, definitely, man. He's been out for how many years now? Like, I've said it, and I'll say it again. It's like Roy Hibbert before. Some of the guys that the Celtics have had at times for big men. Sometimes those big bodies that you think are just so, that they're so huge, they're ready for the spot, they can block anything, and you got dudes that are 5 foot sneaking everything by them, layups, because they just don't have the ability, the agility, all that. So, do I think it's that with Ayton, or do I think it might be the can-do, the work hard, the bust-my-ass attitude? Because I don't think he has that either. And I think a lot of the NBA has lost that. Kind of leading into why I think most sports and exactly why the NBA has so many flip-flop games every week. teams that are up by 20 and then get beat by 15 or 10. Like, it's just a thing, man.
That's just because you watch too much Celtics games.
Oh man, I watch more. To be totally honest, I watch more other games than I do Celtics at this point because they just disappoint me too much.
More entertaining
honestly.
for sure. But
yeah, it's just tough watching them at this point.
speaking of big men and like trade deadlines and stuff like that, going to some like deadline predictions because we're getting into where we're gonna see a lot of trades. And when I'm looking at the league, I'm seeing a lot of teams that need big men, or I'm seeing a lot of teams that are trading big men. So one of the first teams I'm looking at is the Charlotte Hornets. They just got Mason Plumlee in the offseason. He's been pretty good, but they still lack a lot of size. And this is a team that can make they're making a playoff run. They can they can make a pretty good threat. I mean, they're young and they're going to be back year after year. So I think we could look out for them to sign someone like Miles Turner or Mobama maybe.
Yeah, dude, Mobama ain't that bad. But I mean, honestly, like when I look at it, they're kind of that team where like I feel like the Celtics had good old veteran presence when they were making those runs with IT4 and shit like that. But to be honest, I just feel like I don't know, they're kind of a sporadic offensive team. They're still pretty solid on defense, but they're so sporadic on offense. I kind of think when they get into the playoffs, they're going to be facing some more, maybe not even veteran presence teams, but just teams that kind of know what the biz is when you're in the playoffs. And it's not as much about the runs like it is during the regular season game. It's more about, really hammering down on defense and making meaningful possessions on offense, which is not to say they can't run sets and everything and whatnot, but I just haven't seen enough of it consistently out of them this year to be able to really say they can make a run, but definitely think they can get by first round. They have firepower, man, that's for sure.
Definitely. And if they can get a guy like Miles, that would be great because like he's done in Indiana.
Yeah, exactly. There's no need for him to be there now.
Some other big guys I'm looking at, Yusuf Nurkic. I think I could see him leaving out of Portland along with Covington.
Yeah, that's been a long time coming, man. It needs to happen, honestly. He's kind of been useless there.
They're 14 and 22. They're 12th in the West. I mean, I'm fine with Dame leaving if he wants the loyalty thing, like whatever, dude. Like screw it at this point. But I think Nurkic. I think we can definitely see him leaving this year for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely, and that's just going to be like the first offloading of people before he was leave if he does.
Yeah, the
last they're going to have to create room and make themselves get into a good spot,
Yeah, definitely. Another guy we kind of see his name floating around all the time, but his contract was so bad, no one even wants to buy him out. It's Kevin Love.
Yeah.
So like I said,
yeah,
and he's still a good player. He played like 30 minutes or something like that the other day, and he balled out. He did really, really well. But again, it's just the contract, his age, and you don't know. I mean, his injury history has been pretty iffy also. So you just don't want to take the risk.
Yeah, that's the tough part.
But
I always loved Kevin Love. He's a very solid baller. And like you said, the reason when he was rumored to come to the Celtics years ago, I didn't want for the reason of the injuries he has. And I wouldn't say soft. It just seems his injuries are very timingly to the.
Well, his injuries are only because. It's ironic because his injuries are only because of the Celtics. Kelly,
right? His shoulder out. But
well, he got his karma.
I mean, yeah, no, exactly. He definitely did, man. And Kelly O is what he was for the Celtics, but Kevin Love, man, he has been a staple for how many years for those Cavs and with LeBron and just being, like I always say about maybe not the greatest baller, but the guy who's good and facilitates, has a good IQ, hits shots more consistently than most. Like he's just a stable player, and to have stability is better than to have most of the ability of these young guys, honestly.
Yeah, don't forget about his time in Minnesota. He was the best power forward in the league before I went to Cleveland.
Damn sure, man. He started off as such a force, dude.
Yep.
He was like, Cat? What? I mean, he was Cat in the beginning.
Yeah, for sure.
Just a little smaller body, that's all.
I still take that's a good comparison because like Cat recently said he was the best shooting big man of all time, and it's like first of all, Dirk, I'll take Dirk over you. Second of all,
every day.
Second of all, Kevin Love wasn't a big 3-point shooter, a bit more mid range, but like shooting wise, like efficiency wise, like I'm taking Kevin Love as a big man shooter over you too. Like you can shoot all things.
Exactly, dude. When Kevin Love was with Minnesota and Cavs, whatnot. he honestly, with that, especially that first one with the Cavs, man, I don't know how else to put it besides in the playoffs, whenever the Celtics especially played, when I more watched it, anytime he went to take a turnaround, like a dirt shot, whatnot, you know, everything in your mouth sank. You just like, your heart sank. You're like, oh, because you knew that thing was going in almost every time. It didn't matter who the hell's on him. Didn't matter if 2 hands, 3 hands, 5 hands up. Probably is going in that damn basket. It may rattle around a bit, but it's going almost every time. And that was the thing where, as a Celtics fan, you want to see a guy like that because we had no big men for so long. But it's just that, goddamn, he's always beating us. I don't want that dude. Right?
Plus, it's like I know he's like really a small forward, but he's 7 feet. But Kevin Durant, people put him at power forward all the time. He's taller than Kevin Love. Like he's a way better shooter than all you guys combined.
Oh yeah, he's just a guy who can make his way down there as a little smaller in the trees, you know.
So I don't know what he's
definitely done it.
Yeah. Back to a couple more trades, just a few more. Really just one more. I'm talking about Jeremy Grant. He's injured right now for the Pistons, but he's been a 20-point player the last 2 years with them. He's really made a case. He was close to making an All-Star last year. But a lot of title contenders are making calls apparently to them. So I don't know, maybe the Warriors, the Lakers. I'm not sure what
There's a big thing about the Lakers earlier this year with him. So I mean, the Lakers are about in the ER mode right now. They need about any goddamn body they can get. That ain't gonna turn the ball over, should I say, like Russ is.
Yeah, and I saw the Bulls have been making a lot of calls apparently to the Pistons. They're next door rivals about Jeremy Grant, so I think a couple of young guys would be included in there. But back to the Lakers, like you're saying, they're actually trying to trade Westbrook for a little bit after they just got him via trade. But no one wants his contract, especially with how bad he's been playing the last few weeks. But
that's the thing, man. Russ has always been that. He's like the master of disasters, I've always called it, because he could ball so hard, do so much, but he's kind of that guy where when he's balling at that level, he also takes a step back in some form too, because usually he's going so hard he misses it. He'll backroom a dunk, or he'll whip the ball away because he's trying so fast to get it, to facilitate it around. Like I kind of feel like he's that guy that's just when he's playing that middle ground game is his best game, and he just wants to be, he wants to be way too amped every game.
He actually had his first game in like 5 years where he played 30 minutes and got 0 turnovers.
Yeah, and that's sad for a point guard, man. Why I've always said he does not deserve a point guard title, and he's not a shooter. He's a shooting guard. So, like, where do you put him? The perfect old small forward or power forward position. I've wanted to beat that drum for the longest time. I have never said it on live, but I'm saying it right here because I've been thinking of it for a long time, man. And honestly, if he wants his career to turn around and he wants people to value him the way he should be valued, just like we were saying before about that big man there, get his name at the moment, but put him down low, man. Make him do that. Oh, Ben Simmons, that's what it was. Make him do that dirty work, man. They're not Magic Johnson, and Magic Johnson was a once-in-a-lifetime player. Sorry that they can't do what he did. You can't replicate that.
Yeah. The last team I want to look at for the trade deadline, my dark horse deadline winners, maybe not deadline winners, but my dark horse big impact trade deadline team. I want to look at the Sacramento Kings. Pretty terrible franchise, but they have a lot of guys on their team. The person that we probably won't see being traded, but it's a slight chance, but very, very low, Buddy Hield. I don't think he gets traded, but he's kind of always in the mix. But I mean, they have Halliburton, who they just drafted, so you never know. But Halliburton, Fox, Barnes, they just drafted Davion Mitchell. They'll probably keep him. Tristan Thompson can go. Rashard Holmes can go. They got Marvin Bagley, who wants to go. I see a lot of young, good talent that's probably leaving the team within the next 2 years, anyways. So I could really see them making a play this year, kind of unexpectedly. It might not be a blockbuster. It won't be a blockbuster. It might not kind of catch you guys off guard compared to other things that happen, but I could see them making a real big play that's kind of like low key, really good.
Yeah, no, I definitely think so. And dude, they've played some games this year where you sit back and you're like, damn, like they knocked them off, and it wasn't a fluke either. It was a game where they, start to finish, ball on the floor. They're not just shooting threes, like because there's a lot of teams when you got those surprise underdog victories where you look in the stat column and you see, they took 15 threes and made 13 of them or some crap. And then you look at them and they've more or less been the fundamental balling team that's just been putting it to the floor, getting to the line, making their shots, making their layups, and just doing what they had to do, man. So I can't argue that one. I definitely think they could be a good dark horse shot.
Yeah. Lastly, before we get into our piece of the week from the NBA side, want to end it on a little funny note. You remember the whole Jokic and Markieff Morris incident with the running into each other?
Oh yes.
So
Sure.
Keith's still out. He hasn't played from that injury. It's been quite a while, and so someone made a comment about it, and so I thought this quote was just pretty funny. Just wanted to share it quickly. Keith responding to battling the Jokic injury. He said, "When a 300-pound fat boy runs into your spine with direct contact, you're going to be out for a while."
And for real, man, the most athletic, big, fat man that's ever played.
I thought that was funny, 300-pound fat boy. And then he said that, then all the comments came in saying, "Oh, you did this to yourself, blah, 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 blah." Which personally, I still don't really agree with, because I think, yeah, you had it coming, but, that was way too big of retaliation for Jokic. Not to get back.
Oh, yeah, no, dude, for sure, man. I mean, hey, we used to have punches thrown between Larry and all them back in the day, so, yeah. I mean, it's a little softer, but they still think it's bad. But one thing I want to mention before we get off this NBA segment over the piece of the week was, did you see that Kyle Lowry ejection the other night, man?
Yeah,
that was wild, dude.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. Hopefully the NBA cracks down on that, because that's just way too soft. He just gave an underhand toss on a dead play.
I'll say one thing: it was a little quick. He did swing the arm through, give him a good throw, but I think it's more because he caught the ref off guard.
Yeah, definitely.
Than anything. But still, it's man, that is a very hairline decision to go throwing that. It kind of reminds me now of a lot of the college football players, especially. You sit there watching any of these bowl games. There's been a couple of them where a dude, ball thrown over the middle, linebacker, safety comes in to crack him, and the helmet hits him on the helmet. And then the next second, boom, he's out of the game, done for the season, or done for the game, whatever. Bro, you're literally killing someone's life, everything, because of a bang play, or because of Kyle Lowry's situation. I mean, they're not killing his career or nothing, but you're killing his night, dude. You're killing the team's vibe,
Yeah.
And this is where refs gotta stop taking over these games, man. If the call needs to be made, great. If it's hairline, let the shit go, man. Let these boys play.
Yeah, that was pretty weak, and I mean, I don't expect the players to know. I don't know if this happened. Maybe he gave the ball to the wrong ref. Not the players should be able to know that. Not
exactly
much. It was a dead ball. Just someone shooting free throws. Who cares?
And he was so nonchalant about it. It didn't look like he was trying to kill him.
Yeah, he wasn't even mad. He just gave it to him. It would literally look like a normal pass. That was kind of weird. So I'm sure that ref's gonna get fined or something. Yeah, but if you got nothing else to talk about for the NBA, we can move on to the beats of the week.
Better do it, man, because I'm all wrapped up on that. I don't want to be back in any of that Celtic shit talk. So we'll jump right on into it, boy.
All right, man. Well, first we're gonna go over to the East side of the NBA. This man is a man who's been playing at an MVP level. His name is DeMar DeRozan. He's been putting up 28 points a game, 4 assists, and 5 boards. He went 3-0 last week. That is good enough to get us our NBA East.
Beast of the week. Hell yeah, man. He's been killing it. Those Bulls have been absolutely slamming down every team basically in their way. This could be a Bulls year, baby.
The Bulls are the top of the East now, but I was saying to Jay earlier, I don't see him beating. I don't really see him beating anyone in a series in the first round for sure. But I mean, if they face Brooklyn or Philly or even Miami, I don't even know if they'd be able to beat a whole series in them. But DeMar's playing out of his mind.
It's really the Nets for me. That's a big dog for me. But I don't know, man. You good on the NBA side of mine.
Hey, man, nobody's perfect, but we'll move over onto the West because the Bulls are taking over the East. We'll go over to the West, where go over to the West of the NBA. This man, he's been 3-0 on the week. He put up 19, 6, and 7, averaging a block, too. His name is none other than Ja Morant. He is our NBA West Beast Oh,
Hell yeah, man. Jaw has been absolutely lighting it up lately. Was it the Lakers a couple games ago? They smacked them up too. Man,
Yep.
they have been putting the above the hardwood, like I like to say, and doing everything they have to. Who the heck was it he dumped over the other night? They had him talking post game presser because he was like, they're like, oh, I thought you'd be scared to go over a 7-footer, and he just went, we all lace up our shoes the same. I just love that, dude.
Was it
That was awesome.
Gobert?
I think it was Gobert, honestly. I'm pretty sure it was. I just didn't catch it, but it's just a funny interview to me. And I mean, like you said, he's a beast of the West this week. Ja Morant, man, he is. Oh, I don't even know what else to say besides he, to me, is one of the most electric point guards. And like we were talking before about Russell Westbrook, Ja Morant is the most in control when he looks out of control. That's how I put it. Because the dude is just in the zone every single game.
He's the point guard version of Russell Westbrook.
Exactly. He's the true point guard version. That's for damn sure, man. He absolutely kills it out there. I got to be honest about that one.
Yeah, he's nasty and he's young. He'll be good. I got a city jersey hanging up right here, so that's gonna be. I got the tags on it still. It's gonna be valuable, even more valuable.
He's got to stick around for that thing to keep value, though. That's all. Can't go in the dump tanks and trade him out too soon.
Yeah.
But get over here to our last part of the show. We always do this. We got the question of the week, man. Last time we were up and on this goddamn show, we asked y'all about the bowl games, man. Now, those things matter anymore with the college football playoffs. I do understand the playoffs still roll through bowl games, but with the playoffs being in how they are, and obviously, you know, with all the people that are starters that usually just don't even play in these games because of, you know, draft status, whatever, being injured, these playoff games matter. And to me, I don't think the bowl games matter no more. It's all about the playoffs. And for any teams that are still getting into bowl games, it's great for exposure if you're a small program. But most of those small program teams, those small bowl games, they aren't that greatly televised. So ain't doing his job no more is how I put it. What do you think, Magee?
Well, if you're saying do they matter as in should we just not play them, then I disagree with you and say we should keep them, and yeah, they matter. Like you said, they don't matter necessarily for the players because a lot of them don't play because of draft status or injury.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, these bowl games represent what these starters did throughout the entire season. It's kind of like a reward for them, even if they're not playing. Give them the extra week, few days, relax, party, celebrate. Let these guys who don't get a lot of time play in there. If you win, you get a nice little trophy, little dinky dink thing.
Yeah.
That's cool. But I think it's a nice reward, even if you're not playing, just to say you got here and or played in it or won it even. I think it might not matter in the long haul. So yeah, it doesn't really matter when you're talking about it. But in terms of in the moment, I think it's cool to keep.
Yeah, that's a tough part, man. Because I sit there and like you said to start out, I'm not one to sit there and say they're so bad at this point that it doesn't matter at all, and you know whatnot, take it away from them. I would never say that. Like I said in the forefront, for these teams, especially like the Pinstripe Bowl, which I almost went to this year, having Virginia Tech and all them in there, those games matter because it's getting programs that may not be as big a little into the spotlight more, but for my side of the starters not being there, it does show that they got there. There is a lot of bowl games with 6-6 teams though and whatnot, so it's tough to gauge. But it also, to me, I guess, it really just shows off the talent you have going for the next year. Is how I look at it at this point. So it's not as much of what you had; it's more of what you're gonna have going forward. And you know, and that's if the coaches stick around, because now we even have intern coaches over here doing bowl games because they can't even wait long enough to fire the damn coach who just got them to one. So it's a tough battle, man. I'll say that much. But we'll cut that one out there and jump over here. Last 2 hour question of this week. And we talked all year, the big word of parity in these professional leagues and the NFL being the one that's most parity driven, being the extra week added, being everything that's happened and the crazy games we've had. Man, with all the parity this year, who do y'all think is gonna get to the Super Bowl, possibly out of the divisional round? Do you think it's possible? Do you think it's not possible? How's it gonna go? We had the Steelers back in, was it 2009 or 2006, something like that? They were the 6th seed. They made it. the Packers. They made it as the 5th seed back in 2012, I think. So there's times where it's happened. There's most of the times where it hasn't. Y'all let me know on here, whether it's in Spotify where the question is, you got to just pull up. You have that little press play button. Just pull that up there, drag it up. You got the question or the poll question right underneath. And then for any of the other ones, send it into the DMs on Facebook or socials, anything like that. Because, we need to know so we can get this thing up on there. But, yeah, man, that's all I got for today. It's been a hell of a show. I'll say that much, dude.
Yeah, man, for sure. Definitely. It's been a good week.
Hell yeah, man. Big week coming forward. Playoffs are about to get rolling. The heat is on, and that is for sure, man. And that's why we're getting the hell out of here on this snow day because we're about to make some hay, baby. So you have a good one, Magee. Everybody out there, have fun. Do what you're going to do this week, and make it easy into this weekend and watch some good football. Peace out to everybody. That's the show.
Yeah, boy.
Hell yeah.